Progress Report 7, March 11th. The operation didn't hurt. Dr. Strauss did it while I was sleeping. I don't know how because I didn't see, but there was bandages on my eyes and my head for 3 days, so I couldn't make no progress report till today. The skinny nurse who watched me writing says I spelled progress wrong, and she told me how to spell it. And report. And March. I got to remember that. I have a very bad memory for spelling. Anyway, they took off the bandages from my eyes today, so I can make a progress report now, but there's still some bandages on my head. I was scared when they came in and told me it was time to go for the operation. They made me get out of bed and on another bed that has wheels on it, and they rolled me out of the room and down the hall to the door that says surgery. Boy, was I surprised that it was a big room with green walls and lots of doctors sitting round up high all around the room watching the operation. I didn't know it was going to be like a show. A man came up to the table all in white and with a white cloth on his face like in TV shows and rubber gloves, and he said, "Relax, Charlie, it's me, Dr. Strauss." I said, "Hi, Doc, I'm scared." He said, "There's nothing to be scared about, Charlie." He said, "You'll just go to sleep." I said, "That's what I'm scared about." He patted my head, and then 2 other men wearing white masks, too, came and strapped my arms and legs down so I couldn't move them, and that made me very scared, and my stomach felt tight like I was going to make all over, but I didn't, only wet a little, and I was going to cry, but they put a rubber thing on my face for me to breathe in, and it smelled funny. All the time, I heard Dr. Strauss talking out loud about the operation, telling everybody what he was going to do, but I didn't understand anything about it, and I was thinking, maybe after the operation, I'll be smart, and I'll understand all the things he's talking about. So I breathed deep, and then I guess I was very tired because I went to sleep. When I waked up, I was back in my bed, and it was very dark. I couldn't see nothing, but I heard some talking. It was the nurse, and Bert and I said, "What's the matter? Why don't you put on the lights, and when are they going to operate?" And they laughed, and Bert said, "Charlie, it's all over, and it's dark because you got bandages all over your eyes." It's a funny thing. They did it while I was sleeping. Bert comes in to see me every day to write down all the things, like my temperature and my blood pressure and the other things about me. He says it's on account of the scientific method. They got to keep records about what happened so they can do it again when they want to. Not to me, but to the other people like me who ain't smart. That's why I got to do these progress reports. Bert says it's part of the experiment, and they will make photostats of the reports to study them so they will know what is going on in my mind. I don't see how they will know what's going on in my mind by looking at these reports. I read them over and over a lot of times to see what I wrote, and I don't know what's going on in my mind, so how are they going to? But anyway, that's science, and I gotta try to be smart like other people. Then, when I am smart, they will talk to me, and I can sit with them and listen to Joe Carp and Frank and Gimpy do when they talk and have a discussion about important things. While they're working, they start talking about things like about God or about the trouble with all the money the president is spending, or about the Republicans and the Democrats, and they get all excited like they're going to have a fight. So Mr. Donner got to come in and tell them to get back to baking or they'll all get canned, union or no union. I want to talk about things like that. If you're smart, you can have lots of friends to talk to, and you never get lonely by yourself all the time. Professor Nemor said it's okay to talk about all the things that happened to me in the progress reports, but he says I should write more about what I feel and what I think and remember about the past. I told him I don't know how to think or remember, and he said just try. All the time the bandages were on my eyes, I tried to think and remember, but nothing happened. I don't know what to think or remember about. Maybe if I ask him, he will tell me how I can think now that I'm supposed to get smart. What do smart people think about or remember? Fancy things, I bet. I wish I knew some fancy things already. March 12th. I don't have to write progress report on top every day, just when I start a new batch, after Professor Nemor takes the old ones away. I just have to put the date on top. That saves time. It's a good idea. I can sit up in bed and look out the window at the grass and trees outside. The skinny nurse's name is Hilda, and she is very good to me. She brings me things to eat, and she fixes my bed, and she says I was a very brave man to let them do things to my head. She says she would never let them do things to her brains for all the tea in China. I told her it wasn't for tea in China. It was to make me smart. And she said maybe they got no right to make me smart, because if God wanted me to be smart, he would have made me born that way. And what about Adam and Eve, and the sin with the tree of knowledge, and eating the apple, and the fall? And maybe Professor Nemar and Dr. Strauss was tampering with things they got no right to tamper with. She's very skinny, and when she talks, her face gets all red. She says maybe I better pray to God to ask him to forgive what they done to me. I didn't eat no apples or do nothing sinful, and now I'm scared. Maybe I shouldn't have let them operate on my brains, like she said, if it's against God. I don't want to make God angry. March 13th. They changed my nurse today. This one is pretty. Her name is Lucille. She showed me how to spell it for my progress report. She got yellow hair and blue eyes. I asked her where was Hilda, and she said Hilda wasn't working in that part of the hospital no more. Only in the maternity ward by the babies, where it don't matter if she talks too much. When I asked her about what was maternity, she said it's about having babies. But when I asked her how they have them, she got red in the face, just the same like Hilda. And she said she got to take somebody's temperature. Nobody ever tells me about the babies. Maybe if this thing works and I get smart, I'll find out. Miss Kinnian came to see me today, and she said, Charlie, you look wonderful. I told her I feel fine, but I don't feel smart yet. I thought that when the operation was over and they took the bandages off my eyes, I'd be smart and know a lot of things so I could read and talk about important things like everybody else. She said that's not the way it works, Charlie. It comes slowly, and you have to work very hard to get smart. I didn't know that. If I got to work hard anyway, what did I have to have the operation for? She said she wasn't sure, but the operation was to make it so that when I did work hard to get smart, it would stick with me and not be like it was before when it didn't stick so good. Well, I told her that made me kind of feel bad because I thought I was going to be smart right away, and I could go back to show the guys at the bakery how smart I am and talk with them about things, and maybe even get to be an assistant baker. Then I was gone to try and find my mom and dad. They would be surprised to see how smart I got, because my mom always wanted me to be smart too. Maybe they wouldn't send me away no more if they see how smart I am. I told Miss Kinnian I would try hard to be smart as I can. She patted my hand and said, I know you will. I have faith in you, Charlie.